Thank you very much, and welcome to Toronto, and welcome inside the Rogers Center, where the fans are set to go, hoping to cheer their Toronto Blue Jays on to a Game 6, which would be on Friday. It's Game 5 tonight. Kansas City up 3-1 on the Toronto Blue Jays. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Harold Reynolds and Tom Berducci are both coming right up. Well, the Kansas City Royals will try to end it here tonight. They are the defending American League champions, trying to get back to the World Series again and waiting on the finale between the New York Mets and the Chicago Cubs. If you're Kansas City, just keep doing what you're doing. And yesterday it was good enough, hitting up and down that lineup, a 14-2 win, and they did it, Tom Berducci, with their number 4 starter. Now we're back to the top. We're back to a rematch of Game 1, and that means for the Royals, Edinson Volquez, who was terrific in Game 1.
He was great. But you know that feeling, Joe? You come out of the mall, you forgot where you parked your car.
Yeah, I do.
Kind of lost and confused.
What the little beeping things for?
Well, the Blue Jays were a little lost and confused in game number 1 because they saw a different Edinson Volquez than they expected. This is a guy who usually runs the two-seamer in. Well, in game number 1, it was all about the two-seamer away and up in the strike zone. A season-high 62 two-seam fastball, and he got 26 strikes looking and just stayed out there pretty much all day. Listen, the Jays have to get power from the middle of the order to win a game. We all know that. Well, Volquez really neutralized the middle of that order. And I'll tell you this, Joe, if he comes out with the same kind of stuff and the Blue Jays do not make adjustments, Toronto cannot win this game.
Well, there you go. So now we look at the other side. Edinson Volquez, by the way, came out of the bullpen and changed his approach from the bullpen into the dugout and said, I'm going to stay away. He also said after the game that he felt sexy. Nobody's more sexy than the Chris Rock of Major League Baseball.
Oh my God.
And that's you, my friend. How about Alcides Escobar? How good has this guy been at the top of the order for the Kansas City Royals?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. You know, when you watch a series and you get a chance to see a guy on the stage, you always go, pretty good player, great player. You get to see what they can do. Escobar's been that guy right now. Everybody's made such a big deal about him swinging at the first pitch, and rightfully so. He's hit 600 in this series, but hitting 417 over the postseason with 15 hits. But it's the way he's going about it, that bunt right there. And defensively, he's got 40 chances, and how about this great play with no errors? So he's doing everything at a level that you hope to play at when you get to this spot in the season.
Yeah, well, this spot in the season is Kansas City up 3-1. They roll into the Rogers Center today, wondering if they can end it and stamp their ticket for the World Series. Is that what's gold? Him running out there?
He's got a mud flap.
Offense in this American League Championship Series, relentless. And for as good as the overall numbers are, when the 7th inning rolls in, they're deadly. Yesterday, a 14-2 win and a 3-1 series advantage. And it's Marco Estrada in the middle of it all for Toronto. He was on the mound when the Blue Jays faced elimination, down 2-0, and that division series shifted to Arlington, Texas. He pitched really well, got the victory, got a home run from Tulowitzki behind him. Regular season numbers, a 13-game winner. Postseason numbers, he is 1-1 overall. Loser in game 1. The lineup for Ned Yost, no changes. Escobar, Zobrist, and Kane, Hosmer, Morales, Moustakas, Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, Alex Rios. Why would you change it? Good top to bottom, 1 through 9.
I like the fact that they keep the same lineup, and they play a game where you adjust within yourselves with the players hitting around you. So that's one of the reasons they've been so effective. We better get ready, though. This is going to be first pitch, and what's he doing, Joe?
He's hacking, and it's going to be a first pitch curveball out of the strike zone. He'll still probably swing.
Let's see. I'd pull the string on. I'd throw it change up.
One pitch, fair ball, 1 out.
That's a nice play by Donaldson to get that before it goes foul. He's already playing in after the bunt yesterday, the first at bat. But to snatch this ball, remember, all it's got to do is stay fair over the base. He cuts it off as it's going foul before the bag and gets an easy out.
Can you think of a bigger first inning? And we will witness here for the Toronto Blue Jays defensively. Here's Zobrist. Yesterday, a bunt hit by Escobar, a 2-run home run by Zobrist, and the Royals were off and running to a 4-run first inning, and they never looked back. 2-0. For coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune to Fox Deportes. The 2-0 on the outside corner, according to Dan Iasonia, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, the first inning, Joe, so important when you play Kansas City. Number 1, Jays took it on the chin yesterday. Number 2, you can't play from behind because of that Kansas City bullpen.
Number 3, Toronto is desperate for innings out of their starter, Marco Estrada, after yesterday's starter, R.A. Dickey, couldn't get through 2. That's right side foul ball. Will it get out of play? Full count. Home plate umpires Dan Iasonia, Jeff Nelson at first, Jim Reynolds at second, Laz Diaz at third. On the right field line, it's Hunter Wendelstedt. He had the plate yesterday, and John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, is in left. Tony Randazzo, the replay umpire in New York. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Zobrist. Spoils it, flips it out of play left side.
This is why Zobrist is so deadly. He'll foul off tough pitches. He'll go line to line on you. And the other thing I'm looking at right here is how the pitcher and catcher are working with this umpire. It's almost like a boxing match. I want to see what he's going to call and what he's not going to.
Got him, 2 down.
That's a good sign for Estrada. His changeup is so good. Left it out over the inside half of the plate to a left-handed hitter. You see, he wanted it away, but the arm speed coming off the 90-mile-an-hour four-seamer, same arm speed, gets Zobrist out in front.
Well, it's the first ball he saw inside, too, and it was a great pitch, 3-2.
Got him.
Lorenzo Cain with the bases empty. Strike one. He's hitting 13 straight during the postseason. The 0-1. There's the good one from Estrada. Strike two.
Well, we talked about it in game one. When you release the pitch from the same location, tough to pick up.
Estrada on the hump with the season on the line for the second time in 10 days. Sets him down 1-2-3. Blue Jays coming up. Get up close and personal with Iasonia, Perez, and Ben Revere and show you the lineup. Revere, Donaldson, Bautista, the top three, Encarnacion, Colabello, and Tulowitzki. Deanna Navarro catches Estrada, so he's in there. Kevin Pillar and Ryan Goins for John Gibbons, who has David Price in his bullpen tonight. Revere 3 hits in this series. Strike one from Volquez.
And he's starting to feel it. He started to swing the bat a lot better the last game or so. They're going to need him to get on base to set that tone for the middle of that lineup.
Gets dangerous fast with Donaldson on deck. Right side. And the easy grab by Hosmer, one down. Edinson Volquez came into this series 0-3 with an ERA of just under 9 in 3 postseason starts. 0-4 in 6 starts against Toronto, and then guys in game 1 he was tremendous. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 111 pitches.
Electric. That's the word that comes to my mind. His velocity, the highest on the two-seamer in 3 years, actually touched 97. When he's in the 92, 93 range, much more hittable than mid-90s.
Donaldson. 96 from Volquez, strike one.
And that's the pitch that has been giving the Jays trouble. Right-handed hitters give up on the two-seamer because it starts out off the plate and runs back into the strike zone. They have to adjust to that pitch.
I still look at it as advantage hitter. Within 4 days period of time of seeing a guy, you always have the advantage now. You got a chance to see what his stuff is, and he may throw a little harder. I know that now. He may try to go away. I understand how his ball's going to move now. I got a better chance to have a better approach.
Good rip by Donaldson, but strike 2.
Same pitch once again. Dave Eiland, the pitching coach, saying, listen, that's the game plan actually for all the pitchers coming into the series. Stay away until they start diving out to the baseball. There's the two-seam grip, the run. It's not just velocity, it's the movement on that. So far the Jays haven't adjusted. If they adjust, then you'll see the two-seamer in.
I believe they're chanting Volquez, aren't they? Edison's a little harder to do.
Well, it worked for Cueto the other day, so we'll go back to the same bag of tricks.
Whatever it is, it's loud.
2-2 pitch, Donaldson. Donaldson went off in his home park this year. 75 RBIs in this stadium. Majority of his home runs. He hit 41. And as Harold has talked about during the series, just has lifted this club since his trade from the A's. He's played a great third base on top of it. What's he doing with 1 out in the first inning? That is foul.
Get a chance to look at the defense here, Joe, but that's the adjustments that Donaldson makes. Here's the defense up the middle. Zobrist and Escobar. We talked about that and Kane, but everybody's playing great D right now. 1 error and 308 chances in the postseason. That's pretty solid, and that helps your pitching staff. They know I don't have to punch everybody out, get them to put it in play. I'll get an out.
You're right. That last swing, clearly Donaldson protecting the outside part of the plate. That was an adjustment right there. 2-strike swing, though.
Just outside the full count.
98.
You want that pitch as a pitcher, and you definitely know it's a ball as a hitter, and you're hoping the umpire stays with you as you're watching the ball come in. I think he busts him in here, he gets him out, but he's going to continue to stay away.
Got him on the outside corner, 2 out.
I know we have all this camera work and everybody's worried about strike zones, what it's going to look like in a K zone. But if you're a pitcher and you live around your spot, the umpire eventually is going to give in and call your pitch. You can't throw 7 pitches in the same spot and think he's going to call the ball every time. Not going to happen. You stay consistent, he'll stay with you.
Now Bautista. 2 RBIs in this series, 2 hits. No home runs. Taking all the way, ball 1.
Joe, there were a lot of scouts talking about they've never seen Volquez with this kind of velocity after game 1. He's actually up a tick from that level.
Off the hands, popped him up. And an impressive first inning for each. First Estrada, then Volquez, and after 1 here in game 5. Royals will bat up 3 games to 1, no score. Today's telecast is sponsored by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. By DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Old City Hall in the background here in Toronto. From the old to the new. New City Hall. And obviously a more contemporary brand of architecture. As Hosmer takes a strike. Here's one note about the first inning when the Royals went 1-2-3. It's the first time they've been retired 1-2-3 in the first inning this entire postseason. The last time was in the division series last year against the Angels. 21 postseason games in between. So they come at you fast as Hosmer flies to left for Revere. And it'll bring in Kendrys Morales, who's been so impressive, has 4 home runs this postseason, working with hitting coach Dale Swaim. And he learned the hard way, Ken Rosenthal, just how strong those hands are for the Royals DH.
He did, Joe, and that's what Swaim says, that what distinguishes Morales are his hands. They're like bricks, Swaim says, thick and strong. Now, what you're referring to is that Swaim underwent elbow surgery at the start of spring training, and he had to remind himself during spring training games to fist bump Morales rather than give him high fives. every time he gave Morales a high five, his recovery would be set back 2 days.
Oh, Kendrick takes a pitch outside, ball 1.
He's strong, man. There's Dell Swaim right there. I love the fact that Dell is a switch hitter, was a switch hitter as well.
Hard hit. Oh. Goins gets eaten up, but has time. 2 out.
Just the not panicking by Goins. You know when this ball's a bullet at you and it's got a little hook to it, but watch how he squares his body to knock it down. You know Morales can't run. The ball's hit hard. Square it up, you're going to take the hit, and then you know you got time to throw him out. But that ball's going to hurt. Look at him square his body, knowing he's going to see how he kept it in front of him by squaring it up properly and got a chance to still make the out. Me, I'm getting off to the side. I ain't getting hit by that ball. That thing was smoke.
2 out, nobody on, and Moustakas.
Nice play right there.
Ball 1.
The exit velocity on that ball was 105 miles an hour. All right, he gets that in the air. That ball's in the second deck.
2-0.
That's when a second baseman becomes a catcher.
Yeah.
Get your body in front of it and just block it. It's like a fastball in the dirt. Nice job.
Moustakas 3 hits in this series. That is outside. 3-0. Mike hitting just 132 over his last 10 games, but he has an RBI, at least one in each of the last 3. These are the ones that count the most. Here's a 3-0. Didn't give in, hit the outside corner, 3-1.
Tell you what, it's a tough game for the umpire too, because both these pitchers are living on the outside half, and they can trick you. All of a sudden, they don't hit location and come back in. They want to strike.
What a 3-1 change in the count full.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised to see another one here, Joe. Rarely throws the ball inside, either with the four-seamer or the changeup. A lot of pitches away.
Got it. Estrada comes back from a 3-0 count to strike out Moustakas. He's on, so is Volquez in the first. Bottom of the second. Things are moving quick around here. No score.
I know, you can see all those. Open the roof one time, let it all fly out.
Volquez struck out 1, had a perfect first inning, and here he is dealing with DH Encarnacion. Colabello and Tulowitzki the next 2. Strike 1. Well, Tom Verducci, what do you think of the stuff here in Game 5 for Volquez?
It's the same as Game 1, just better. You saw Sal Perez setting up off the plate, the glove actually off the plate out of the strike zone. It's that comeback two-seamer. Now here's the spike curve.
For a called strike 2.
Away, away, away. At some point you have to make a commitment to cover away.
Good job by Perez to frame that. DH leads it off, the 0-2.
You hear the quick call by the umpire right there. That's the case. It is a strike, and he happens to drop the ball, you run, or whatever it might be. You get the quick call of no, and then he asks for help.
Pop up, right side, down the line. This is trouble. It is caught. What a catch by Hosmer. And he was the only one that could get there. What a play.
Beautiful play. I was looking at him before the pitch. I was thinking, how's he get to a ground ball that's hit to his right? Look at him go back and get this ball over his shoulder. Just a terrific athlete. That's a great catch.
That was amazing. You saw his eyes leave to see where Rios was. Understood, I'm the only one with even a shot at this baseball. Found the baseball again over the shoulder. Hardest catch to make. Wow. Many levels. The difficulty of this play is just amazing.
It's a fair ball, so that play just likely saved the leadoff double. The great defense continues for Kansas City. 1 out. Colabello takes this strike. Late time granted by the home plate umpire, and that didn't sit well with Volquez.
You know, that was looking at that 2-time Gold Glove winner. You know, Eric Hosmer won the pitch hit and run program, the national championship. He was one of the guys in, and as a kid doing that stuff, and then take it to the big leagues.
Strike 2.
That's a great pitch. Everything had been away. That one came back in a little bit.
98.
As the run on this two-seamer. See, Perez is set up outside. It just keeps running in and up.
Look at that.
I mean, that's 9-10 inches in a run. That's crazy.
In the air to left center. This one is gone. 1-0 Toronto in the second.
Change up. He actually got out front and was able to get a hold of this. A split or a change that didn't left out over there. When you're throwing 98, you hang one about 88 and speed up the hitter's back.
Tulowitzki. Ball 1.
0-2 home run. I saw Colabello last night, he and his wife, and he was talking about his dad was a pitcher in Italy, right? Professional ball. And saw his dad last night. He said, "You're 0 for 4. Make an adjustment." It's like, what? Well, I guess he made an adjustment, Pop.
Tulowitzki. Good pitch from Volquez at 98 again, strike 1.
There's the changeup left up in the zone. I will tell you how rare that is. The last time Volquez allowed a home run on a changeup was in July of last year. 1,228 changeups thrown without a home run. It's just crazy.
How do you know that? Unbelievable, Tom.
Here's a 1-1.
You were sitting on that one, weren't you?
Well, that pitch is the reason why it's such a freaky stat, because all it takes is one changeup left up in a zone, and it's the easiest pitch to hit for a home run. That tells you what kind of control, crazy control on the changeup. Just not on that one. I guess he was due.
The 1-2. Tulowitzki hits it hard. Right at Moustakas. 2 out. Back it up, Tom. Back it up.
Let's go to the Wayback Machine, to the last time we saw a changeup from Volquez hit for a home run. This is today. Volquez knew it right away.
He did.
And this was the last one, July of last year. Volquez on a different team. He was with Pittsburgh. Cody Ashley, the Phillies, got him.
He left that one right over the middle. At least the one today had a little bit of movement. The one Ashley hit right there didn't have a whole lot of movement. Nice job by Colabella. You know, can you imagine having your dad being a former pitcher? The conversations you must have. He is a smart hitter, though. And I think a lot of it has to do with growing up with your dad being a pitcher. And he's talking about how guys may go after you. And he's talking about what adjustments you might need to make. So it's interesting being around the dinner table, I'm sure, with those two.
Gianna Navarro took a ball. Now another.
Yeah, that first ball, Joe, is another changeup, not even close to the plate. If I'm Toronto right now, I'm sitting on the fastball. Anything hard until he proves he's got the feel for that changeup.
Well, you almost have to. I mean, he's throwing 98. You'll adjust to that changeup anyway. And that's why. I mean, he's looking heater and still can't catch up to it. If you're Volquez, you go back to your game plan. You've had it now for basically 2 games. He made one bad pitch. They haven't come close to really hurting his fastball away at all.
Two and two.
And you see the counterintelligence department of the Royals is closed tonight. We went through this with Cueto the other day with multiple signs with nobody on base. Sal, Perez, and Volquez keeping it simple tonight so far. Nobody on, one sign, set up early.
Volquez even talked about it. Cueto was wrapped up in that too much. 2-2 pitch as Navarro spoils it. It's Navarro in the lineup to catch Estrada. Second year here in Toronto, but this year the Blue Jays picked up that guy, Russell Martin.
Well, when I look at Russell Martin, we'll have time a little bit later to talk about his relationship with Volquez. When Volquez went to Pittsburgh, Ray Surge broke him all the way back down. Russell Martin was a big part of that.
Full count now on Navarro with Pilar on deck.
Volquez basically was out of ball and he had been released, and the Pirates picked him up and said, I'm going to break you all the way back down. Russell Martin was a big part of that.
Two-out walk.
Yeah, that's spring training, Harold. Volquez was talking to us about kind of remedial pitching with Ray Searage, the pitching coach of the Pirates last year, to rebuild that delivery. The entire spring training, he was under orders to throw the baseball over the middle of the plate. And he was getting clocked, as you can imagine. So finally he said, can I please start working on the edges? And that's where they started from, square one.
And the part Russell Martin plays in that is Ray Searage asked him, what do you think? And Martin said, okay, it's time.
Pilar now 1 on, 2 out. The number 8 hitter in the lineup for the Blue Jays. That's caught by Zobrist to his left. In the inning, Chris Colabello found a changeup and changed the scoreboard. Rode one out into left center, and here in Game 5, down 3-1, it's Toronto on top. 1-0 after 2. Royals down 1 looking for their first base runner. Perez, Gordon, Rios, bottom 3. Against Estrada. How about Marco Estrada on a 1-year, $3.9 million deal? Will be a first-time free agent this offseason. And here at home, since the All-Star break, in 7 starts, he's allowed 2 runs or fewer in all 7. And he's already shown what he can do with his team up against elimination in the division series against Texas, with a win in Game 3 on the road. Strike 2.
Well, you know, I like the fact that the guy continues to learn, and he was in A-ball a long time. And Tom, that warrants a story of how he learned his changeup.
He was 23 years old in A-ball, going nowhere with an ERA over 5.
Perez hooks it foul.
The fastball, curveball pitcher. And a teammate, Clint Everts, showed him his changeup grip. Marco took it into his next start, had an immediate feel for the pitch. He said that night, this is going to change everything, and it has. So I think they've got the right guy on the mound, because this guy's got heart and guts. When you can throw 4-seam fastballs at 88, 89 up in the zone, that takes some guts.
Popped up right side. And out of the reach of Colabello.
Playoff camera well down there. Regular season, that might be an out. You can hear Salvador Perez talking to that ball as it's in the air. Get foul, get foul.
.305th game caught over the last 2 years. And ties for the most ever since 1914. He has been busy. That's down 2-2. Talked a lot about all the foul tips he takes. Took one straight into the midsection here yesterday. So many off the mask, the shoulder. The 2-2. That's fouled back.
Joe, they do something with Sal when he's catching I've never heard. As the ball is coming in, he's in position to catch. He actually drops his head. And they're trying to protect his head by getting it out of the way of foul tips. Watch, keep an eye on that later on, but obviously a big body who sets up high gets hit a lot.
That's right at Tulowitzki. Ragged glove and all. Wow. Alex Gordon is coming up. And we're going down to Aaron Andrews.
Well, Joe, and I talked to Alex Gordon today and I asked him just what his mindset for the game is. He said, you want to know what it is? Game 7, 9th inning, 2 outs, and me on 3rd. And just Madison Bumgarner being the hero. He said, we were so close, we came up short. That is today's motivating factor. He said, so many people want us to come back to Kansas City and win the ALCS there. He said, of course, we need to finish this thing today, here.
Yeah, you think about in the 9th inning, he got the single, then the error out in left center field. He ended up 90 feet away from tying that game. Gordon out in front. The count is 0-2 in a blink.
I tell you, that was the whole conversation of the offseason. Should they have sent him? Should they have not? You know, that whole play as it was developing, I think he's dead at the plate.
I agree with you.
He's dead.
No way you send it. Here's the 0-2. 2 out.
Estrada back-to-back changeups. And this ball's got great movement. The other one that Zober struck out on in the first inning was in. It was supposed to run like this away.
Here's Rios. Homered here yesterday. Had 3 hits out of the number 9 spot. Good fastball from Estrada at 91.
He's actually thrown a little harder tonight. This guy typically sitting around 89, 90 with that 4-seamer. We've seen a 92 in there. He's got a game face working too, no doubt.
Just to finish on sending Gordon. Mike Jersley's the third base coach. You want to be known as the third base coach that ran the guy to the plate for the final out of the World Series?
Don't think so. Don't think so.
Trying to stamp their ticket for the Fall Classic again here today. Rios grounds to Colabello. What a start for Estrada. He's faced 9. He's retired 9. He has a 1-0 lead after 2.5. Ryan Goins, the young second baseman, had an 0 for 17 AL Division Series. It's been a different story in the LCS. He grounds to Escobar. 1 pitch, 1 out. As Goins is now 5 for 14 with a home run in this series against the Royals. We visited with John Gibbons, manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, and he is thrilled with what he's seeing from the starter Estrada so far tonight.
Yeah, Joe, he looks really good, strong. You know, he's spotting that fastball. He's got the great changeup. He's thrown a couple nice little curveballs, and that's really what he is. And the key is he looks like he's dotting that fastball pretty good. And the right pitch, right time. You know, they're a very aggressive hitting team, so he can time it up the way he wants to with the off-speed stuff at the right time. He'll be in good shape.
Look, it's what you hope to be the first of a 3-game winning streak here. I want to say this the right way. You'd love to avoid using David Price if you can, but he's out there, and if you get him up, you've got him available here in Game 5.
Hopefully that's our secret weapon today, you know, with all these left-handers in the lineup. And, you know, this time of year, you never really know how long Estrada's going to go. And you really have prime guys or Sanchez, you know, Price and Osuna, the guys that we're hoping to get to pretty easily.
John, thanks. Good luck.
Okay, guys.
So don't forget about David Price, who came out of the bullpen in Game 4 of the division series, and he's primed and out there and ready to go if they need him. And you just get the sense that they want to need him and want to use him here before they hope the series goes back to Kansas City.
He's getting in this game. Just by the way he's talking, even if Estrada goes the distance and finds himself in a jam, I think we're going to see David Price first man out of that pen.
I think the key is third time around when the left-handed hitters come up. That will be the spot for Price. Oh, I like the idea of the bunt there from Revere. Volquez is a guy who finishes off balance, glove behind him, falling off to the first base side. You just got to get the ball toward Moustakas at third base, away from the mound.
Well, he was trying to pull that to second, and the ball was away from him.
Donaldson struck out his first time. Takes a ball outside. We're going to talk to Ken Rosenthal at some point, either here in the third inning or next. Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager, the man along with management around Alex, pulled the trigger to get David Price from Detroit. 2-0 pitch is inside, 3-0 with Bautista on deck.
You see Donaldson's approach right there. He was already diving out to go get a ball, and we got a change up back inside. I mean, that ball came close to hitting him because he's looking away, which you can't doubt him, but that's the adjustment. I'm going to look outside. You can throw anything in you want.
That was a poor changeup again.
Swinging on 3-0, and he grounds it up the middle to Zobrist. And that ends the inning. A perfect inning for Volquez sends us into the fourth here in Game 5. Toronto has a 1-0 lead. This one continues immediately after our game. Fox Sports Live, they bring you a complete recap of this one, including live reaction from here in Toronto. Then an all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter with coaches Conor McGregor and Uriah Faber. As Escobar leads it off, strike one from Estrada, who continues to roll. Then garbage time later with Katie Nolan. It's all tonight after our game right here on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Escobar rounded out his first time on the first pitch. First pitch swinging. Missed it. Now outside. And when Estrada went through the side in order in each of the first 3 innings, it's the first time the Royals went 9 up and 9 down in a postseason game since the ALCS in '84. Game 2 against Detroit against Dan Petrie. Strike 2 now on Escobar.
And Estrada, he's on a nice roll. He's done a nice job. There's been some balls hit at people, but that's what you do with your defenders. I think the fastball changeup's the toughest combination in all baseball.
Well, he told us after game 1 he wasn't happy with the fastball command. Changeup was fine. Tonight, pinpoint with the fastball command thus far.
A 1-2. 2-2. Zobrist on deck. It's been a 1-2 combination that has been lethal in this postseason. Full count.
I think the one thing here that you're seeing, Escobar seeing a lot of pitches right now. Zobrist had a nice at bat. Saw his whole assortment. Morales hit a ball hard. Perez, even though he lined out, had a nice. They're seeing a lot of pitches from him, and that just helps the hitters as you go deeper into the game.
That's another hit for Escobar. And he's on to start this 4th inning. First base hit of the night for Kansas City.
That's why you see this base hit right here. I think we will see David Price when it's all said and done. I love the fastball changeup combo, but the more hitters see it and see pitches from you, the more apt they are to square a ball up eventually.
I can't believe he was still in the batter's box looking at all those pitches. 13 of his 20 at bats, 1 or 2 pitches, and he was out of there.
Ball 1 to Zobrist. How about the last 2+ games now for Escobar and Zobrist, who's up at the plate? Now 12 for 21.
At the top of the order like that, it just puts the pitcher in all kinds of trouble. Particularly, he goes straight to a stretch after warming up in a windup for 25 minutes to get ready for a game.
Double play ball. Out.
I thought we might see a hit and run right there in that situation, but no.
Double play is the result. Tom, all yours.
Well, how does he do it? The 4-seam fastball. There's the grip right there. Tremendous backspin on. Gets carry, even though it's not a high velocity pitch. Tremendous carry. And there's the circle changeup. It has the most vertical drop of any changeup in baseball. He's actually run a few as well away from left-handed hitters. But that's the combination that works.
Here's Lorenzo Cain, ball 1 outside. Only the hardcore baseball people paid attention when Marco Estrada was traded from Milwaukee to Toronto. That is upstairs 2-0. And despite going from the National League to the American League, you're dealing with an extra hitter with a DH. The ERA for Estrada went from 4.36 last year to just over 3 this year, the 3rd biggest drop in the DH era, which dates back to 1973. So it's been impressive. And if he gets out of here, Harold, he's going to head into free agency with a lot of interest.
He's got to. And you want to see how a guy pitches in pressure situations as well. He's auditioning for everybody.
There it is. The cambio, the change, and the count 2-2.
Well, Lorenzo Cain got a 2-0 fastball, swung through it, and came back with a nasty changeup right there. They're into it, Joe.
And they will remain so. 1-0 after 3.5. Part of the order for the Blue Jays, up 1-0 on a Colabello home run in the second. We had a chance to visit with Ned Yost, manager of the Royals. We'll give you that after Bautista. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Colabello. 1 hit, 1 walk.
They have shut Bautista down. No power out of him so far this series. He hasn't really got a lot of pitches to hit. He's popped some balls up. You've watched the reactions, but for the most part, they've kind of pitched around it. Force him to have to swing the bat at bad pitches.
Ball 2.
An interesting sequence from Sal Perez. Put the changeup down. Didn't get the okay. Put it down again. Didn't get the okay. And he went to the spike curveball. Staying soft on Bautista. Two-seamer away.
Here's where he's got himself a little bit of a jam right here. Bautista has got to really lock in on his pitch right here. He's a guy that can go on an outside pitch and still yank it into the stands in left field. Missed it. Woo.
He has walked 6 times in this series, so you're right. They've been careful.
Ball up just a little bit in the zone, but that's a pitch. When he's on, he still covers.
Left side, long throw. Safe. And Bautista stays at first. Infield base hit for Jose Bautista.
This is a tough play. Look how far he's in the hole to go get this. He knows Bautista runs pretty good. I think he was hoping that he would short hop this ball and get it to Hosmer, but look at Hosmer. Great athleticism to go adjust. I love the slide by Bautista. You read the throw, get on the inside. Nice baseball play by everybody.
Leadoff man is on for the first time tonight for the Blue Jays. Here's the DH, Encarnacion. Popped up. Foul territory. Perez out of play, strike 1. Here's Ned Yost. First question or statement was, it's a good ball game here tonight.
Great ball game. Both pitchers looked like they got their A game going. Estrada is really commanding his fastball well and a dynamic changeup. Volquez got great stuff too, so it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, the velocity from Volquez. I mean, I know you can make too much out of velocity sometimes, but his stuff is just popping here again tonight.
It is. I think it's playoff adrenaline more than anything else. You know, you get into these scenarios and, you know, it's full bore, go get them, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of him tonight.
Yeah, and the last question, Alcides Escobar. No surprise that he gets your first hit. This guy's been all over the place.
You're right. Great at bat right there. Worked the count to 3-2 and got a pitch that he could, drive through that infield. But he's been having a great series. We're going to have to mix together a couple of more of those to put some runs on the board.
Hey, as always, thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys.
So after the leadoff base hit by Bautista, Encarnacion hits into the four-side at second. Runner at first, now 1 out for Colabello.
Well, I like the no throw here by the ball runs up the arm there, and Zobrist knows he can't get rid of it. I like the no throw. A lot of guys force it when you don't have a grip, and that ball ends up in the seats, and the runner goes to second base.
You see how this turf really takes the steam out of a ground ball. 2 or 3 bounces, and it really slows down.
Colabello homered his first time. Strike 1.
Good swing.
That's a good adjustment right there. Home run on the changeup. first ball hitter, two-seamer away. Had a good rip at it. Looking right spot, right time. Just missed it.
I think watching both these teams, that whole take a pitch, get deep in the count stuff, throw it out the window. They're not even thinking about that. Pitching's too good.
Seen a much more crisp game because of it.
True.
0-1. Right side, going to be tough. Zobrist, Escobar, got them both. Double play turned by Zobrist, and the shortstop Escobar, and well done, sends us into the 5th inning. Royals bat up 3 games to 1, trailing by 1. Will switch to the uncarrier today by the Quesarito and Volcano Quesarito big boxes. Grab them at Taco Bell. And by Budweiser, make a plan to make it home. The CN Tower. Great view up above of Toronto, and on your way down you take a look at the Rogers Center. Roof is closed, as it has been since we got here. First pitch is strike to Hosmer. It is a cold, foggy day outside. Upper 60s inside. In a venue that opened in 1989. 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. I like this home plate umpire, Dan Iassogna. He's got some life back there.
Yes, he does. And he's consistent. You love that. But he's letting guys know immediately. There's no complaining.
Strike 2.
And both pitchers have been right around the plate so far all night. Estrada continuing that great four-seam fastball command.
Hey, with all the injuries in youth baseball, fastball, changeup, think you can't be effective? Look at this guy. That's all you need.
of that double play that ended the fourth inning?
Well, a couple things go into it. Look how deep Zobrist is, okay? The ball's hit. He's catching this on the back line, and Escobar's arm speed is so strong. So, one, they know who's running in Encarnacion who hits the ball and what's the feed. And then Escobar's arm. I don't think we realize how great an arm this guy has. The arm strength to turn that double play after your defender, the second baseman, gets the ball on the back line. That's a big league hose to turn that over.
Here's Kendrys Morales. Grounded out his first time. Strike one, outside corner.
On darts. You will not see Estrada shake off Diallo Navarro. They paired up about halfway through this season, and it's been a winning combination for John Gibbons.
Strike two.
Joe, you remember a guy named Larry Milburn? Remember that name way back? I played with him when I was a youngster in Seattle. He goes, this guy looks hitterish. I mean, every time Morales comes to the plate, you think he's going to hit a ball hard. And he's just dialed in, spitting on balls on the corners. We've watched him. His outs have been loud. He hit that big home run the other day. Here's a hitter who's dialed in. He looks hitterish.
2-2. Estrada has faced the minimum through 4 1/3. And these hitters off balance from the beginning. Struck out 4.
Well, the tough pitch.
Joe, he has not left the dirt of the mound. Pitch prior to that, he actually left the plateau of the dirt on the mound a little bit, but he is in a zone.
Full count.
Some guys are just walk. I don't have a good feeling for Toronto in this situation. He is just, that's a tough pitch to take. Even got Estrada saying, hold on, let me think this over.
On deck is Moustakas. 1 out, bases empty, 1-0. Blue Jays on top. Easy for Pilar. To his right, 2 out. The MLB postseason continues tonight. It's game 4 of the NLCS at Wrigley Field on TBS. And if necessary for the NLCS tomorrow. If the Blue Jays win today, on Friday will be game 6 of this series from Kansas City. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. 2 out, nobody on. Field swung around to the right for Moustakas. Strike 1.
Back to the future day, right? Looking at that Cubs, I was thinking about that. Dr. Brown, where you at?
Well, they did predict the Cubs winning the World Series. They did not, however, predict the kind of clothes we'd be wearing.
That's true.
Walking around in it. George Jetson outfield. Fly ball into left. Revere. How about Estrada? The minimum through 5. Estrada says forget Price. This is his game so far, leading 1-0. Blue Jays coming up halfway through it. Edinson Volquez brings it home. Tulowitzki first pitch swinging. And just over an hour, 10 minutes into the game, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0. The Toronto Blue Jays leading on the Colabello home run. Share your favorite play ball moments on Twitter and Instagram using hashtag #playball for the chance to be seen by millions of fans. MLB will retweet and regram some of the best moments on the official MLB social channels. Sightlines Restaurant here at the Rogers Center. Up there. Down below, good game. Total of 3 hits, as you can see on that auxiliary scoreboard. Strike 1 now on Navarro.
You're getting to that point where you're really trying to pick out one pitch to hit because you're not getting an opportunity for a pitcher to maybe leave you 2.
Deanna, his first time, drew a walk. Leadoff hit by Bautista in the 4th inning, but a double play ball as Volquez faced only 3.
It's been a postseason so far, Joe, without a lot of nail biters. Just 2 games decided by 1 run. I'll tell you, the early DNA of this game, pitchers duel, every pitch looming important.
Blue Jays trying to end a trend for Toronto the last 15 games dating back to the regular season. They score 5 or more runs, they're 6-0. If they score 4 runs or fewer, they're 0-9. They have to slug, and Volquez not allowing them to. But trailing by 1, 2-2 pitch.
One pitch he missed on right there. That ball is meant to be outside. Stayed with it a little bit long and pulled it in towards the hitter. But the velocity allows you to make mistakes. When you're throwing as hard as certain guys are, see that? Pulls it back and he got a pitch to hit. He fouled it off. The ball was meant to be away. But when you're throwing high 90s, that's the advantage. You're throwing low 90s or 80s, that ball's hit. Squared up. Navarro's an interesting case. You know, they kept him around thinking he was going to be their DH this year. And as their lineup continued to change and evolve, he found himself in a backup role. He wasn't happy of sticking around when they got Russell Martin to be the head catcher, everyday catcher, that he was going to have to back up. Wasn't happy about it, but he stuck around. He found a spot catching Estrada and making things work.
Strikeout for the 2nd out of the inning. Alex Anthopoulos is the man who put this roster together, made the changes in season in his 6th year. Montreal-born general manager for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Ken Rosenthal, what's his future here with this organization?
Joe, that's a good question. And once the Blue Jays season ends, that will be their #1 question. Anthopoulos' contract expires at the end of this month, actually before the World Series would end if it was extended. Mark Shapiro is the incoming team president. He's the Indians' former GM. Now, the two sides have talked about an extension. Ownership has said that they want Anthopoulos back, but it's unclear how the power-sharing arrangement between Shapiro and Anthopoulos would work. No one is commenting on this during the Jays' playoff run.
That's drama left for the end of the World Series for this organization. They won the AL East. That's foul.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's done a nice job putting a team together that is one of the most powerful teams in baseball. And you would have to think this guy's job would be in the balance too if they decide to go change the general manager in the direction of the organization. And very loyal to Alex, come back again.
3rd year, 2nd tour of duty with the Blue Jays. That's up and away.
Just me speaking myself, I don't see how you make a change. I mean, pretty good ball club they put on the field here.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. That's a winning combination. Nothing more important in baseball the general manager-manager relationship, and they've got a good one here.
2 out, nobody on. 2-1 pitch. This is a hit. This turf, first year of a new surface here at the Rogers Center, is where chopped ground balls and bunts go to die.
Well, the first thing I thought about too, Joe, there's something to be said about putting the ball in play.
That's just an excuse me swing, hits the dirt in front of the plate and just absolutely dies. Put it in your pocket.
With a 410-foot home run from Chris Colabello. This less than a 45-footer off the bat of Pilar to keep this 5th inning alive.
I got to have Pilar on the go. 2 outs, runner on first. He's got to steal a bag for me here.
Volquez slow to the plate. Very long arm swing. He's about a 1.3 to the plate.
And you want to do it early. You go within the first 2 pitches, and now you allow the hitter Goins a chance to hit. And if he gets thrown out, then you have Goins to Revere to lead off next inning. So to me, this is a no-brainer. You got to run in this situation.
Ball 1 outside. Pilar stole 25 during the regular season. Has 1 in this series. His only 1 this postseason.
And that arm swing is the key to life on his 2-seamer, but it takes a while. He'll bring that ball down actually below his knee on the backswing.
Strike 1. Goins homered here in game 3. Hit 5 during the regular season, and that's why Harold and Tom talk about the stolen base. You don't expect a home run. So Pilar, to this point, not in scoring position.
We'll be able to see how far he takes that ball down after he takes it out of his glove.
Ball 2.
Guy who wants to sit on his backside over the rubber. See how it gets below his back knee. Takes a while. It's a beautiful arm swing, very clean for a base runner. Every 1/10 of a second is precious.
He's deceiving because he's got a quick move to the plate, but you can run on him.
There he goes. Ground ball fielded by Hosmer. And the inning is over, and that sends game number 5 into the 6th inning. Kansas City will bat. Who's coming up? The bottom 3. Perez, Gordon, Rios. Blue Jays lead by 1. Marco Estrada dealing with the bottom three in the lineup for the Royals. First pitch down and away, ball one.
Perez had a great at bat last at bat off of him.
Lined out to the shortstop. Rocket to Tulowitzki. Perez and Gordon and Rios. 1 ball, 1 strike. Perez homered against Estrada in game 1. One of his 2 hits from this ALCS. Here's one in the air into left center field. Pilar, arm out, well away.
Well, this is the nervous inning for John Gibbons. You saw that shot in the dugout. Managing that 6th inning for them, the 6th and 7th, it's going to be key. This is where, do I get David Price up? If he gets up, he's got to come in, right? Because now you're going to shoot him. He's not going to be able to come back on Friday's game. You're forcing him to a game 7 start for David Price. So you're nervous. You're hoping Estrada can continue on and get you through.
Here's Alex Gordon. Ball 1.
You saw the pitching coach on the phone. As the lineup starts to turn over, that's when managing a game begins. 3rd time around. Yeah, he's got great stuff, but facing elimination right now, the bullpen is on alert. You can't wait for trouble. You must anticipate it.
Sanchez is going to get up.
It's a 1-0 game. You know, in one swing of the bat, you're tied. And in two runs, you're looking at that Kansas City bullpen. You're in trouble.
You saw him tossing a baseball. It's code orange. That's not code red quite yet. But just make sure you start getting yourself ready, going through your routines. Sanchez more used to coming into a game late. Well, it gets late early in games like this.
Strike 2.
I thought it was interesting. You don't see David Price stretching. I don't even know if he's in the bullpen. I'm sure he's down there. He's down there early.
And this may be overthinking it, but I find it interesting where Sanchez is standing. He's not standing in a spot where Estrada can see him.
Good point.
You don't think those starters know when a guy's up in the bullpen. They do. 2-2 pitch.
I love that point, Joe. I mean, the psychology of it. And you're always saying, it's my game. And sometimes that does affect the guy. Great point.
That last swing by Gordon, you can see how aware they are. 91 in. There's the look from the mound.
Now he backs up a little bit, but he's watching. As he was tossing, he was a little further down toward the left field foul line, and he goes back there right now. And he's behind the padding, so Estrada can't see him getting loose.
And I'm watching Estrada go to work. Remember, he got Alex Gordon on 3 straight changeups last time. Now he's been throwing a fastball by him.
To the right side. Goins, what a hard play. Made to look easy, 2 out.
Great hands. That's a hands play right there. A lot of times you see a guy flip that out of the glove. Remember, Alex Gordon had that surgery, not running like he used to run before he had the groin surgery. But look at the hands go to work right here. 1 step and it's off a flip. He makes a tough play look really easy.
If he lays back, that's likely an infield hit, or a heck of a lot closer as Rio stands in, 2 out, nobody on. A fly ball into left center field. Pilar is back, has room. Estrada through 6. Sanchez will take a seat as the Blue Jays come up in the bottom of the 6th in Game 5.
sixth inning, and that's the speedy.
Continues. It's game 5, bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Jays leading on the Colabello home run in the second. Just about the only hiccup by either starter in this game. Top of the order, Ben Revere. Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista here in the 6th inning for the Blue Jays, facing elimination here tonight.
No, you're right, so it's been a great pitch ball game. Even when they're missing their spot, they're still getting good outs, but they haven't missed their spot very often. It's been a great, very well pitched game. So much movement that looked like it was going to hit Rivera, and it comes back over the plate. Didn't get all the way back, but look at the movement.
Two-1. 2-2. It's Chevy Truck Month. Time to make a strong decision, like choosing a 2015 Silverado today. Chevrolet is proud to be the official vehicle of Major League Baseball.
It's what you want out of postseason baseball. 144 pitches in this game. One mistake. Change up to Colabello, and that's the difference here in the 6th.
Pitching, starting pitching, all we've seen so far tonight. I mean, just nothing. The one run on the Colabello home run on a changeup that was in the wrong spot for Volquez.
A lot of soft contact, just 6 strikeouts between the two of them.
A lot of loud fly balls, though.
Even in the top of this inning. Here's a 2-2. Full count.
That's the one, again, 2-2 is a big pitch count for me, particularly top of the order guy. I want Benavides to put the ball in play if I'm Volquez. I'm not getting it to a 3-2 count. What are you going to throw Benavides right here?
Gotta be a heater.
Gotta be a heater. And he knows that as well as anybody.
Huge pitch, instant rally if he's on base.
Fastball grip. Up and away, ball 4. We welcome you inside our booth. And while the Blue Jays are batting here in the 6th inning, I'm Joe, that's Harold, that's Tom. Hall of Fame manager Tony La Russa calls what's going on the other side of the ball a doubleheader win if John Gibbons can get through this game without having to use David Price. He has him lined up for Game 6 if there is one Friday in Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the great job of pitching Estrada has done. I think this is maybe taking David Price out of the game now. I thought for sure he'd be in when we started, but he's done such a great job of getting depth. Now you're moving to Sanchez and Osuna to close this game out for you.
Yeah, that was the formula. Price, Sanchez, Osuna, but the depth he's getting from Estrada maybe changing that blueprint.
Not just depth, but dominance. Now Donaldson gets smoked. A walk, a hit batsman.
And all these fans here remember what happened on August 2nd. Between these two.
Well, it's the second pitch he's thrown inside to him. Remember last at bat, he threw him a changeup in. Donaldson was diving. So he's looking out, but watch the ball run back in. Now, if you're getting pitched in, you're going to expect the ball in. But he's anticipating everything being away. They tried to change it up a little bit and go inside, and that ball ran in and got it pretty good. You want to know if a guy hits a guy on purpose or not when you're at home? Just watch the catcher. He'll tell you everything you need to know. That was not intentional. He got hit too.
2 on, nobody out for Bautista. Does not have a home run in this LCS. Strike 1.
You remember in Game 1, the timeout they had that kind of got Volquez back under control. He got away from his fastball. They had a conversation with the pitching coach, and he got right back in sync. After hitting Donaldson, they had a little bit of a conversation. No pitching coach, but he came back with a big strike there.
Ball 1. Interesting to see Price up, moving around out in that bullpen.
Yeah, well, you can't rush him into a game like you can a normal reliever. John Gibbons, the manager, telling us he needs more time being a starting pitcher to get himself ready.
They need more runs.
Volquez trying to prevent that. 1-1 pitch. As the bullpen for the Royals gets busy. Outside, Volquez doesn't get it. 2-1. He's only at 75 pitches.
Remember I talked about being consistent and getting that call? He was getting this pitch early in the game.
Watch Perez's head drop. That's the way he catches the baseball, to protect himself.
Well, you know what Bautista's thinking. Count in his favor. 2 on, nobody out. Outside again. 3-1.
Watch Sal Perez's head. He's got it lined up, and then the head goes down for protection. 2 calls didn't go Volquez's way.
And if you're thinking about a double play ball, Donaldson's not being held, and he is standing like as far off the base as Hosmer. So now as a middle infielder, you know you're getting taken out. So that takes away that double play immediately for you.
Bautista waits. His trying to launch a full count.
That's the danger with the two-seam fastball. If you start it on the corner, it runs over the plate into the barrel. Volquez wants to start it off the plate and hit the corner.
I think he just lives on the outside half here. I'm curious. No one holds Ben Revere. I would doubt that he would run in this situation.
Had a real good rip at that. And that's the difference when you get to the 3-2 count. You want to protect against the walk, and you want to make sure that two-seamer comes back into the zone. So you're catching more of the fat of the plate than you would in a count with less than 2 strikes.
Would he dare go to a changeup?
He's primed for one if he has the guts to throw it.
This is just straight power versus power.
Great battle. Sal Perez is going to go out there and talk about this one with Volquez. Timing, yeah, he's got the timing just underneath it. That ball just up enough to get off the barrel.
And that's what they've been doing with Bautista, keeping it up.
Bautista has one mammoth 3-run home run this postseason, Game 5 against Texas. 7th inning. 3-2 pitch.
Straight butter. Here it is. Coming right at you.
This is like a staring contest. Who's going to blink? Same pitch 3 times in a row.
9th pitch coming.
Take at least 10.
How much fun is this? That one at 98.
Well, you know he's throwing a strike, and you know he's swinging. I think you just keep coming at it, see who wins.
The thought is, do you dare throw that knuckle curve right here?
Nah.
I don't think you do, but once Bautista has seen so many pitches at the same speed in the same spot, you have to really stay convicted to that pitch.
I think the big mistake would be to try to go to something different. Last thing, he's not going to, you don't want to walk him. You want to make him hit the ball. If he beats you, he beats you, but you want him swinging that bat. Well, you're looking at bases loaded, no outs with Encarnacion coming.
Bautista will take a walk if you give it to him. He's walked 6 times in the series. Another 3-2. He takes a walk to load him up.
He came with the hook. Ned wants him to check the first base, see if he swung.
What a battle. Power on power. Watch the location. They're all in almost the same spot, same speed. There were 3 trips to the mound during this sequence. Finally, they decide, let's give him something else. That is a tremendous pitch by Volquez and a tremendous take. Just didn't get the call. The danger there is you want to throw it for a strike and you hang it, and he placed that on the black.
The other thing that happens, you fool the umpire along the way, too.
Ned Yost is asking for an appeal, which they never got on the check swing. But you look at the replay of the pitch, it could have been called strike 3. It was that good of a pitch.
There's a look on the check swing. Look, you always want to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And that's what frustrates teams. Here's a look right here. And they waited at the mound for the umpire to come out. Here it is again, the check swing. But that's the one thing guys get frustrated on. If you ask and they say he didn't go or yes he did, no problem. When they don't ask is when people get frustrated.
Encarnacion with the bases loaded, nobody out. Volquez steps off.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not going out of a stretch right here. And that was the step off to see where Ben Revere is. And a lot of times this summer we see guys balk, right? Not usually out of a stretch, out of the windup. The other reason I'm surprised he's in the windup is because he hasn't been there for 3 hitters. He's comfortable in the stretch. He's been throwing strikes out of the stretch. Now you go back to another movement and you add another part to your delivery.
Encarnacion. Good pitch from Volquez, strike 1.
And the last point on the windup too is you allow the base runners to not be held. So any ball in the gap has a chance. Really, Bautista could score on a ball in the gap from first base. He's getting such a big lead.
No Blue Jay has ever hit a postseason grand slam. Encarnacion has 9 in his career during the regular season. So we showed you 3 this year. And here's his spot to release the pressure of what has been an intense game 5 so far.
Pressure, the last 9 pitches, there have been 5 meetings on the mound.
Two and 2. Volquez has struck out 2. He's got the stuff to get out of this, but he's got to go through Encarnacion and Colabello, Tulowitzki. Bases loaded, nobody out.
This half inning affects David Price moving forward in this series as well.
Full count. Volquez was missing by inches. Hung his head after his 3rd walk of the inning and 4th of the game as he missed on 3 and 2 to Encarnacion.
And Joe, I got to give credit to Bautista and Encarnacion. Power hitters that make contact. If you're facing a lot of other lineups with guys that hit 30, 40 home runs, you're getting a strikeout.
Royals go to their bullpen. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th. Ned Yost came out and argued after he made the pitching change. And now he's back into the strategy of this as the infield is pulled in. Colabello's coming up, and Kelvin Herrera is into the game in a 2-0 game 5 in the 6th.
They're going to cut the run off at the plate, or if it's sharp and it takes you to the middle, if you're in the middle, you're going to take that double play. They're trying to come home with it.
Colabello homered his first time, then bounced into a double play. Strike one from Herrera.
In between innings, they were not happy with about 3 or 4 calls that they did not get with Volquez, and particularly not asking the first base umpire.
Off the end of the bat, out of play. I think the big complaint they would have would be that 3-2 to Bautista.
There it is. Now, they have a better argument about the ball being in a zone than a check swing. Ned Yost wanted to appeal on a check that was not a swing, and that's a 2-seam fastball. It's a good call by Dan Iasonia. Just didn't have the same run that Volquez would like to have on it. Didn't come back over the plate. I think he's upset that he didn't get a chance to appeal that check swing on Bautista, but again, that was not a swing.
I don't know. It was questionable, but the big thing for me
is Colabello struck him out one away, and a big strikeout for Herrera.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, you got to ask. That's what Ned's upset about. We'll leave it there. Herrera with a big strikeout, Joe.
Absolutely, and that's what he gives Ned Yost coming out of the bullpen, the electric stuff and the ability to hold this inning in this game right here at 2-0. It's Tulowitzki.
He has been firing one strike after another, Joe. 34 pitches in this series, 28 of them strikes.
Tulowitzki into the gap. That stays in play. 3-run score. The Blue Jays busted open in the 6th.
The big break here was that ball staying in the park. It hit and bounced and hit the top of the wall, giving them an extra run. It bounces out. It's a ground rule double. You only pick up 2 runs.
Tulo has been watching these games. He knows this guy's just been filling up the strike zone. Jumps on the first pitch.
Tulowitzki doesn't have a ton of hits this postseason, but he's got some big ones. And now he's got his second of this postseason in support of Marco Estrada. He homered in the division series down 2-0 with Estrada on the mound for the Blue Jays in the win. And now he empties the bases with a 3-run double to make it 5-0 in the 6th inning, facing elimination here in game 5.
You know how hard it is to get through this lineup? Bautista, why did he get all those fastballs? He's got Encarnacion sitting behind him. Then you got Colabello. Then you got Tulo. There's no way to find an easy out of the inning.
3-run extra base hits for Troy Tulowitzki. Timing is everything.
3 walks in the inning, 4 in the game for Volquez, who goes 5+, 5 runs on 3 hits, but 4 walks, 3 in the inning, and a home run allowed. 3-1 now on Navarro.
Question, Joe, is David Price quit stretching?
Well, I think 2 things are in play. One, Estrada has been virtually untouchable. 2, they're in a position where if this series does go to Friday's game 6, they're looking at a David Price start on normal rest, and they're into a position in the game where they can use Sanchez and Osuna, their closer, because of what Estrada's done. Got him on a breaking ball for out number 2, and we go back to Tulowitzki's bases clearing double.
Fastball, middle, and absolutely ready for it.
Well, he's hit some balls hard already today, lined out the short the time before, and he just caught another one. He's been aggressive. That ball right there, staying in the ballpark, is all the difference in the world of a run.
Pilar. Good breaking ball from Herrera. Strike 1. 8th man to bat in the inning.
I guess David Price is getting up.
Well, as was the case with Ventura last night, you're looking at a possible side day, a chance just to get the arm loose. I was thinking this watching you guys do the division series when Price came in that 7-1 game with R.A. Dickey on the mound, like, hey, they're going to need Price again before the end of this series if they get there. If they use Price in this game, the Blue Jays would have to be in a position where they bring Stroman back on short rest.
Short rest, absolutely.
Pilar strikes out, and Herrera strikes out the side.
Pilar saying he foul-tipped that ball.
And now here comes John Gibbons. We won't go to break until we get another look. As of now, it's the end of the 6th.
And remember, too, regarding Price, Joe, he got up in that division series on his own in the bullpen. He could be on his own program. No contact.
We're going to go to break as the Blue Jays get the big shot from Tulowitzki. The in-season pickup, the longtime Colorado Rocky. They love him now north of the border in Game 5. His big shot makes it 5-0 Blue Jays. Into the 7th we go. First pitch misses, ball one, 7th inning. Escobar, Zobrist, and Kane. Top of the order for Kansas City. Yesterday, Kansas City banged out 14 runs on 15 hits. They are more than capable. Estrada has shut them down so far. Escobar has the only hit for the Royals so far as the count goes to 2-0. And David Price is getting loose in the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
And he is on the mound throwing.
The 2-0. That is foul, 2-1.
And again, we have to stress, as a starting pitcher, he needs more time than a normal relief pitcher to get ready to be dropped into a game. So I believe he's throwing, if this inning gets to Eric Hosmer with 2 runners on base, it's David Price's spot. With Hosmer, followed by Morales, and then Moustakas. Have to anticipate that situation. If it passes, then the baton gets passed to Sanchez.
Good pitch from Estrada. And Estrada can make all that irrelevant if he can get outs. He has allowed just the 1 hit and faced the minimum through 6.
He's been fantastic, and he's gotten better as the game's gone on.
He's had these hitters off balance all game.
The changeup is so devastating. He throws just hard enough that you can't sit on the changeup and still catch up to the fastball. This is not like a Jamie Moyer that's going to throw a ball fastball 86 or something like that, where you can sit changeup and still hit the fastball. Here comes another change. There's 90 miles an hour, so he'll do it.
Game summary brought to you by Budweiser. Colabello, the only run in this game until the bottom of the 6th with a solo home run in the 2nd. Tulowitzki, bases loaded, bases clearing, 3-run double. The bottom of the 6th. Estrada, Volquez, both strong to start. Here's a ground ball to Goins. Stays down on it, 1 out. And Estrada's pitching the game of his life here on Wednesday, October 21st, Game 5, 2015.
32 years old. We talked about finding a changeup in A ball at age 23. Subsequently waived by the Washington Nationals. Went to Milwaukee. Was cut by the Brewers. Taken off the roster. Went to spring training 4 years ago on a minor league deal. Last year allowed the most home runs in the National League. And Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager of the Blue Jays, said, I want this guy. Gave up Adam Lind to get Marco Estrada. And what he keeps saying is, I have to prove everybody wrong. Been doing that my entire career. Never more so in a bigger spot than right now.
Well, I think when you get around these general managers on both these GMs and both the managers, you start to understand that character counts. And being able to look Estrada in the eye yesterday, did he ooze with confidence or what? That's the guy you want.
Zobrist just fights it off.
See that right there, Zobrist is sitting on a changeup, but a fastball's enough that's almost by you. So he catches you in between.
Right at Tulowitzki. 2 down. The Geico in-game box score for the Royals, all zeros except 1. 1-1, and it belongs to Alcides Escobar in the 4th inning. This is it. And what followed? Zobrist hit into a double play.
The world he's living in, 60 feet 6 inches. Nothing else. Not the crowd, not facing elimination.
David Price right now is just watching the show from out in the bullpen.
As he should be. David Price got rubber arm though, man. I mean, this guy, I didn't think he was going to have much in Kansas City because he was up in the 7th and the 8th in Game 4 in Texas. Then came back and was ready to go again. And then when he started here, he's been throwing a lot.
At the end of a long year, here's a 2-0. 3-0 with a left-handed hitting Hosmer on deck. Estrada's come back from 1-3-0 count in this game, and he can't hear a 2-out walk. And the batter will be Hosmer, who with a long ball could make this a 3-run game here in the 7th.
I thought with 2 runners on, it would be Price on Hosmer. 1 runner here, still a little more rope for Estrada, but John Gibbons told us has to watch Estrada close late in the game, because as you mentioned, Joe, long season for all of these guys, but especially for Marco Estrada, who started the year in the bullpen.
Price in the 7th.
1 on, 2 out. Hosmer first pitch swinging into left. Revere right in front of David Price to end the inning. Estrada takes this game to the 7th inning stretch, leading by 5. And more. You say those are unofficial.
I want that outfit.
Celebrate with your favorite team at the MLB.com shop. Bottom of the 7th inning. Goins, Revere, Donaldson against Danny Duffy. Herrera pitched 1 inning, struck out 3, allowed a hit, and all 3 inherited runners to score. See what Duffy can do. He pours in strike 1.
Well, for the Royals, it's Duffy the rest of the way. unless you get the lead. It's a starting pitcher that's been stretched out long enough, but he can give you the length the rest of the way through.
Goins 0 for 2 tonight. Volquez on the hook. His numbers will not be indicative of how well he threw here tonight. He came close even in the inning when he walked 3 and hit a batter, but he's on the short end of a 5-0 game. The 0-2. Ball 1. By the way, we talked about Estrada. He went 6 2/3 innings pitched, facing the minimum. That's still the longest for a starter facing the minimum for an AL pitcher since Don Larson's perfect game. There's a 1-2. Going, strikes out, 1 away. Game 4 is tonight in the NLCS with the Mets up 3-0 at 8 o'clock Eastern on TBS. And tomorrow would be Game 5 if necessary at Wrigley on TBS. A night game as well. And then if there is a Game 6 in this series in Kansas City, Toronto and KC on Friday at 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And what about Daniel Murphy? He's hit a home run now in 5 straight postseason games. And like the man on that graphic, Carlos Beltran, Murphy's doing it at a time when he's about to wade into the free agent waters.
He made an adjustment about midseason. He's always been a great hitter. The power has been the difference, but he started really driving the back leg, and as a result, has really given him quite a bit of power.
Tom, how about the list Murphy's compiled? Kershaw, Greinke, Arrieta, Lester, and Hendricks last night.
That's some hit list. Babe Murphy. Yeah, Kevin Long had him start to look for pitches to drive middle in. Only 14 home runs all year.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ben Revere. Strike 2.
Add one more great arm to this Kansas City bullpen. You see Danny Duffy. His fastball is just electric. And it plays up now, moving from the rotation to the bullpen.
Top 5 in the pen for the Royals. Not allowed an earned run in this series. And Duffy's on that list with Hochevar, Madsen, Herrera, and Davis.
Duffy's an interesting case for me. As a starter, you think he's going to be a guy like a Cliff Lee or somebody, that type of stuff. It hasn't all been clicked for him yet. In the pen, he's been very effective. But I think he's going to be pretty good. This guy's got a bright future.
He strikes out Revere on a pitch down and away. And only running because he has to for out number 2.
Well, Ned Yost was talking to us about how their bullpen is a blueprint for a lot of other teams to copy. And if I'm another club looking at Danny Duffy, I think he's much more comfortable out of the bullpen. You see he's junked the windup, going strictly from the stretch position. His fastball plays up. I mean, the Royals have built this pitching staff from the back forward. I would do the same in another club and take Danny Duffy as a valuable relief pitcher.
Here's Donaldson now, 2 out, nobody on. Last 5 outs have been picked up by strikeouts. There's strike 1. And by the way, to kind of finish the David Price dialogue, I think John Gibbons is past the Price time in this game for the moment. Price has taken a seat, and Sanchez has been getting loose.
The Price not right?
Not right now. Donaldson into center field, and that ball is going to scoot to the wall. Josh Donaldson with a 2-out double.
Watch him take this ball inside, swing inside out. Just stay with that. Beautiful swing, and he got that little carry. And just carving it out towards left center field. Look at this ball to right center. Took the ball down and in and drove it to right center field. That is the difference in Josh Donaldson this year as opposed to playing in Oakland or in the American League West, when every ball you have to drive, you seem like you got a pull. And he's understood now my power plays everywhere in this division and in the ballparks, and it's made him a better hitter.
It's a case in Baltimore, case of the Yankee Stadium.
Everywhere. He can drive the ball out the opposite field in this division. Tampa, you're right. Here.
Boston, at least down the line.
Yeah.
Here's Bautista, ball one. 98 from Duffy on the scoreboard radar gun. Bautista has walked, singled, scored a run, one of the 3 walks. Go along with a hit batsman for Volquez in the 4-run 6th. The 1-0.
And if you look at the box scores at Bautista's games, it doesn't look like he's had a big numbers yet. Yesterday he got that ground ball, drove in a run. That's a big at-bat. Then the at-bat tonight, the walk. Just the fact he's got this much power and he still puts the ball in play really forced Volquez to have to do something different than he walked on.
Joe, you made the point about all of his walks. They may not have all the damage numbers we're used to seeing from Bautista, but he's been seeing the ball really well, really not getting outside the strike zone.
And again, I go back to the length of the lineup, and a lot of people I know don't believe that it matters. It does, you know. And now all of a sudden he's getting some pitches, and he knows he doesn't have to force things to happen when you got the depth behind him.
Right center field. Back at the wall. It is off the top. Donaldson scores, and it's 6-0.
The difference with this ball than the ones he got with Volquez, this ball's down. Remember, he kept fouling the balls back against Volquez. Look where this pitch is at. It's going to be down, and he stays right through it. It's right in his loop zone. And he didn't miss it.
He got to second base. Now it's time to speed up and get there. He thought the ball was out.
Strike one on Encarnacion in a 6-run game. Back-to-back doubles with 2 out by Donaldson and Bautista.
Well, Joe, they keep scoring like this. It might be time for penalty. Penalty to come back out there.
Yeah, right. We had a position player pitch in Game 4. That's how out of hand Game 4 got. A 14-2 Kansas City win. Different story here on Wednesday.
Said his arm felt great today, by the way.
The 0-2. Blocked by Perez.
What a good definition of what makes a great hitter. When you can hit in today's game late in games with all the velocity coming out of the bullpen. Check out these numbers for Jose Bautista. Gets better as the game goes on, as the velocity goes up.
Tells me he's a good fastball hitter. They're coming out of that pen, not throwing many wrinkles, coming after you.
Struck him out. And like Carrera the inning before him, Duffy strikes out the side, but back-to-back doubles to add to the lead for Marco Estrada. These fans have been making noise since 4 o'clock, and they are at their loudest now, leading by 6 into the 8th. Marco Estrada is back to work. 8th inning. And he pulls the string once again as Kendrys Morales comes up empty. Moustakas and Perez will follow. It's a 6-0 Toronto lead. After the lopsided game yesterday, 14-2, where a position player had to pitch, Toronto facing elimination, we came in talking on air and off air about the importance of the first inning for Marco Estrada. He retired the side in order. He faced the minimum into the 7th inning. This is a night he'll never forget.
Game of his life. Think about it, Joe. Last 2 days for Kansas City, 30 hits, an assembly line of hits. Tonight, 96 pitches, only 3 from the stretch.
A strikeout starts the 8th.
Well, I know they were on the brink of elimination to lose this game, but he not only saved this series, this game, but he saved their season. Now their pitching is lined up that's going to give them a chance. If he has a bad inning, he struggles through the 4th or 5th, David Price is in this game, no doubt about it. Now, being able to run the table is going to be very, very difficult. Now they're set up pretty good.
That said, the Royals have what they want with Yordano Ventura. If there is a Game 6 on Friday night, a rematch of Game 2, shadows won't be to the advantage of the pitchers, which they were in Game 2.
True.
Price was great until the 7th, and it fell apart. Strike 1 now on Moustakas.
2 base runners, single by Escobar. 2 pitches later, a double play. A walk to Kane. 1 pitch later, a fly ball.
Strike 2 now on Moustakas. Left side, foul, and out of play. Marco Estrada is 32 years old. Former 6th round pick by Washington, up with the Nationals in 2008. Claimed by Milwaukee off waivers in 2010. Went 7-4, 7-6 the last 2 years. Traded here to be a part of the bullpen. Then the rotation. And now into stardom here in October.
2 pitches previous, we saw the shot of Estrada looking around. The crowd up on their feet with 2 strikes. First time I saw him get outside the 60 feet 6 inches that he has controlled all night. Almost appreciating the moment for 1 brief second.
Two and two. When he got traded to Toronto, he was thrilled. The only issue he had was he and his wife moved to Arizona because of spring training being held there for the Brewers. They had to break it to her that they were headed to Florida and Dunedin.
He'll have another big decision this offseason. Said his wife loves being in Toronto. But the man's going to get some offers from a lot of clubs out there.
1 out, nobody on. Here's a 3-2 to Moustakas. In the air to center, and that is caught by Pilar. 2 down. Today's telecast sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Cricket Wireless, something to smile about. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. There's Salvador Perez. In the air to right. Bautista back at the wall. It's gone. Salvador Perez has the Royals on the board. It's a 6-1 game as he has his 4th home run of this postseason and 2nd against Estrada.
Well, he's the one guy who had some really good at-bats. And he took this ball and drove it the other way. Hit a home run off him in game 1 to left field. And this time around, he takes him to right.
First pitch last time, first pitch this time.
Strike 1 now to Gordon. Alex 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. That's a base hit into right. And we'll see if Estrada remains to face Rios. The answer is no, and we'll be quiet, and you can just enjoy the ovation for Marco Estrada. Gives way to Aaron Sanchez, the 23-year-old right-hander. Former starter in the minor leagues, now a hard-throwing reliever and the setup man for Osuna. 2 out. Rios. Strike 1.
Keep him in the ballpark. You know, this is big because you always want to keep that 5-run lead. A grand slam doesn't tie you or beat you when you have a 5-run lead.
It's 6-1 after the 2-out doubles. Here's one to the right side. A base hit. And the heart rate goes up here in Toronto. 3 straight hits. A homer, 2 singles. And here comes Escobar, who to this point in this LCS has been the most valuable player on either team.
It's almost like watching a relay race, passing the baton. Rios there, getting Escobar to the plate by taking the ball the other way, shortening up on the swing. Keep the line moving. That's the mantra of the Kansas City Royals.
Well, Escobar has 1 hit tonight, 10 in this series. See the average, 555. He's been unbelievable. Two on, 2 out. Ball 1 upstairs.
And all this going on. How nervous are they? They have Osuna up. And hey, young man, you got to get ready if we need you.
This is the back end of the bullpen combination to close down Game 5 of the division series against the Rangers. This is where the Royals have done the majority of their damage. From the 7th inning on, look at these numbers. This postseason, hitting .391 in the last 3 frames. A 1-1. Strike 2.
Well, we often talk about it. Guys in the back end of that bullpen, they're coming with 2 pitches. You're not worried about 3 or maybe 4 different things. You're looking for that heat and adjusting. Maybe that cutter or a split or a change. That's it.
Just got a piece. Escobar checking the end of the bat, make sure it's still intact.
Yeah, when you have those cup bats, at the end of it, the cup, sometimes you catch the ball on the end of that, and it sends little splinters down the bat. You want to make sure that the head stays solid up there at the top, where if you hit it, it's not going to break when you make contact.
Two and 2.
What defines a great rally team? Toughest team to put away with 2 strikes in all of baseball. That's the Kansas City Royals. Sanchez trying to figure out how to dispose of a guy who's got tremendous hand-eye coordination. So 2 breaking balls. See him go back to the sinker here. Plate coverage, hand-eye coordination. Tough to get the 3rd strike.
In the air to right center, Bautista there. Inning over. Estrada got him into the 8th. Sanchez gets him out of the 8th. 6-1 Toronto after 7.5 in Game 5. Breaking ball in for a strike to Chris Colabello to start the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 6-1 game. Blue Jays facing elimination, leading by 5. Colabello did not offer at the pitch. 1-1. Chris homered his first time, bounced into a double play, then struck out in that 4-run 6th. He struck out in what was at that time a 2-0 game for Tulowitzki. Plugged the gap in left center and cleared the bases.
Well, he's got some respect on that fastball, doesn't he? 2 back-to-back breaking pitches, then they reach back with the heater and he lets it fly.
Struck him out. That's 4 strikeouts for Duffy.
Talked about the respect that he has on the heater. How about the changeup? He takes this changeup right here from Volquez and drives it out of the ballpark. Strong guy is out in front. Ball's hit at 108 miles an hour and goes 410 feet. You think about how hard that ground ball that Morales hit was 108 miles an hour. So think about that. Amazon StatCast. StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. Take you inside with all kinds of numbers. Making sense of things.
Breaking ball in for a strike to Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki, the big swing of this one, Tom.
I want to StatCast Marco Estrada's heartbeat throughout those 8 innings tonight. Might not even have registered. So cool.
Right side, another hit. Tulowitzki, who had a 3-run double last time, is on here with 1 out in the 8th.
You know, Joe, we were talking before the game. I saw Tulo down on the field doing these weird stretches, right? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. You had hip surgery. And he said he talked to Alex Rodriguez on who to go to. Went to Colorado, the top specialists in the country. And he said it's been about a year now because, remember, he finished the season early last year to have hip surgery. And he feels fantastic. He said every time he would run, his labrum would catch, like with just a glitch. So they took that out, cleaned him up, and he feels terrific.
Here's Navarro. Problem for Tulowitzki was in a collision with Kevin Pillar on September 12th. He ended up with a crack in his left shoulder blade. And so that's what has been bothering him most recently. As we said, not a lot of hits this postseason, but some big ones for Toronto. Strike 2 on Navarro.
Yeah, and you start to see signs of when a guy's going to break out. That right there, he takes a pitch, a breaking ball, and shoots it through the right side. He being Tulowitzki. That tells me he's staying on the ball more. The ball he hit into the gap in left center was a bullet. So he's staying up the middle of the field, and things are starting to open up for him.
Two out. Duffy has retired 5, all 5 with strikeouts. T-Mobile wants fans to share their passion. Be part of the biggest 7th inning stretch. Post your photos and videos with hashtag the big 7th and hashtag contest for a chance to win tickets to World Series game number 4, which will be in either Citi Field or Wrigley Field.
National League Park, American League home field advantage, winning the All-Star game once again.
Pillar takes a strike. One for 3 tonight. Set up here. The Royals in the 9th inning against the closer, Osuna. We'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Zobrist, Kane, and Hosmer, trailing by at least 5.
John Michael Gibbons of San Antonio, Texas, never more eloquent than when he took the ball from Marco Estrada. Wow, that sums it up. Don't need anything more than that. But I will tell you this. Marco Estrada took the ball twice, where a loss meant the end of the season for Toronto. He gave John Gibbons 14 innings, allowing only 2 runs. Definition of clutch.
Two out. And a line drive into center. Kane over his head. Tulowitzki on the move. Around third. Throw to third. Run scores. And out at third is Pilar at 7-1. The run counts as Tulowitzki crossed the plate before the out at third. And we're just hoping Eustakis is okay.
Well, you hear Pilar saying, "You're all right. This is going to be a hard slide." He tries to get it back in.
The out call by Laz Diaz. Another run on the board. It's 7-1. If he didn't get him initially, we know by now, keeping the tag on the left foot and leg of Pilar. That's clearly an out at third base. Meanwhile, watch Tulowitzki. He's got to cross home plate before that out at third. And he did. Barely.
Kevin Pilar was running him down.
They're going to review this play, but I think they're going to come back. First, initially, they could be looking at 2 things. A lot of times you see review, it doesn't mean they're looking at just what we think is obvious. They're probably checking to see, did Tulowitzki cross the plate? And then also, is he out at third base?
Well, the home plate umpire, Dan Iasonia, was right on it. They are checking both. The crowd's reacting because they're showing the play at third, but like we saw here yesterday, then Pilar comes up off the bag and the tag remains, but there's the freeze. Tulowitzki is on the plate for the 7th run, and the tag has not happened at third yet.
Well, plus the other thing, if we go forward, he's safe at first. All right, now you come in, he's got the right foot is in, he's safe. He's out because the left foot is out. So Tulowitzki's almost in the dugout now. Okay, so if you thought he was maybe close, now Tulo's scoring about that time. And now he's past the plate by now, I would think, and that's when the play is applied the tag.
It's a double upheld. Everybody off the field, except for a couple of the batteries still out there. You're out at third, and the run scores.
They got it right, and they back it up on video. And now it's a 6-run lead again for Toronto, trying to get a Game 6 in Kansas City on Friday night. Here comes the 20-year-old. and Dan will be joined by Kevin Burkhardt, Pete Rose, Frank Thomas, Raul Ibanez, C.J. Nitkowski, and special guest Alex Rodriguez. Complete post-game coverage, including player interviews. Fox Sports Live is on immediately after our game here on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Justin Smoke comes in the game to play first base. Colabello, who homered tonight, is out. And here is Roberto Osuna. First pitch swinging. Goins to his right. 1-0. Zobrist 0 for 4. And the 20-year-old closer, Roberto Osuna, is in to get now the last 2 outs.
That'll slow you down. 1 pitch, 1 out for a guy who really never swings at the first pitch, Ben Zobrist.
The hitting streak for Kane is in jeopardy at 13 games and counting in the postseason. 98 from Osuna, strike 1. Big questions for the Jays as we remind you that official caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate with your favorite team at the MLB.com shop. Was how would the young closer handle the pressure of the postseason? 20 years old, new to the job in the big leagues. He's been outstanding. Back to him. Pretty cool, huh? 2 out. We saw Moustakas shaking out that left hand. Aaron, what happened?
He came over to speak with Ned Yost, Joe, when he came off the field. Ned Yost asked him if he was okay. He said, "I'm fine." Then Ned asked his head athletic trainer, Nick Kenny, to take a look at him, and Mike Moustakas just pushed him aside and said, "I'll be okay." No one has gone up to him from the athletic training staff since.
2 out, nobody on. Hosmer standing in between the Blue Jays in Game 6. Not anymore. Toronto wins Game 5, 7-1. Into this game, everybody talking about the Royals' run-scoring machine. 33 runs in the first 4 games, including 14 yesterday. Well, Marco Estrada shut down that attack here. Kept the Royals hitters off balance from the beginning. He gets the win in the biggest start of his career. And if you're Kansas City, you got to win here. You go home. You're up 3 games to 2, and you go back in front of your great fans and try and win it there.
Sometimes an athlete is so good, a game becomes his personal property. This will be known as the Marco Estrada game.
2-hour, 56-minute game. Estrada the winner. Volquez the loser. What a game. There will be at least 6 in this ALCS. Jay and Dan, all yours.